Our ancestors who lived in caves led a life full of hardship and danger. Their daily existence was deprived of many of the comforts we take for granted. They had to hunt for food, fight predators, and seek shelter from the cold. However, despite all these difficulties, they had one advantage that most modern people cannot boast of: perfect teeth. No cavities, no misaligned teeth, no tartar. Our ancestors' teeth were strong, straight, and healthy. How did they do it? Was their life so harsh that their bodies simply couldn't afford to get sick? Or was it all down to their diet and lifestyle? To understand the secret behind their perfect smiles, we have to immerse ourselves in a world where there were no toothbrushes, toothpaste, or dentists. Watch the video to the end to find out how we can regain at least some of this natural health. Modern dentistry has reached incredible heights. We have access to the most advanced technologies, from high-precision diagnostics to the most complex surgical procedures. There is a huge range of oral care products on the market, from toothbrushes with thousands of bristles to whitening toothpastes and irrigators. Nevertheless, dental problems remain one of the most common diseases in the world. Almost all of us have experienced tooth decay, gingivitis, or other diseases at least once in our lives. Now imagine that thousands of years ago, when dentistry was unheard of, people had much healthier teeth. It seems paradoxical, doesn't it? What are we doing wrong if all our efforts and technology cannot compare to the natural mechanism that worked for cavemen? What do you think is the most harmful aspect of our modern lifestyle for our teeth? Write your thoughts in the comments. Modern people spend significant amounts of money and time on maintaining oral health. We visit dentists for regular checkups, get professional cleanings, and have fillings and crowns done. However, despite all these efforts, dental disease remains one of the most common health problems. According to the World Health Organization, more than 90% of the adult population has tooth decay. For our ancestors, this figure was close to zero. They did not have access to sugar, but their diet was rich in natural fibers, which naturally clean their teeth. The absence of toothache and tooth decay was the norm for them, not the exception. This fact makes us wonder if we are looking for a solution in the wrong place. Our ancestors did not strive for a perfect smile, but their lifestyle itself was the ideal prevention. Modern people, on the contrary, often face diseases caused not only by poor nutrition, but also by stress, poor ecology, and lack of physical activity. The diet of cave people consisted mainly of hard and coarse food. They ate raw meat, wild roots, nuts, and tough plant fibers. Such food required thorough chewing. This process was not just an act of consuming food, but a real workout for the entire dental system. Intense chewing stimulated blood circulation in the gums, strengthened the jaw muscles, and promoted the proper development of the facial skeleton. The constant load on the teeth prevented them from shifting and helped form an even bite. In contrast, our modern diet consists mainly of soft, processed foods that can be swallowed with little chewing. The lack of chewing leads to atrophy of the jaw muscles and bones, which is one of the causes of crowded teeth and malocclusion. The lack of vitamins and minerals, which were abundant in wild foods, also weakens tooth enamel. How do you think we can compensate for the lack of solid food in our diet without returning to a primitive lifestyle? Watch the video to the end to find out the answer to this question. The hard food of cave dwellers was a kind of natural toothbrush. Plant fibers and meat tendons cleaned plaque from their teeth, preventing bacteria from multiplying. In addition, constant chewing increased saliva production, and saliva is known to have antibacterial properties and help neutralize the acid produced by bacteria. Thus, even without toothbrushes, their teeth remain clean and protected from tooth decay. The absence of sugar and refined carbohydrates in their diet also played a key role. Modern foods rich in sugar and starch create an ideal environment for bacteria to thrive. Soft foods do not require intensive chewing, which leads to weakening of the jaw muscles and bones. Crowded teeth, in turn, make them more vulnerable to tooth decay as they are more difficult to clean. The constant chewing load that our ancestors' jaws were subjected to not only strengthened bones and muscles, but also contributed to the proper formation of the dental arches. Wide jaws allowed all teeth, including molars, to occupy their rightful place without crowding. This prevented the development of many orthodontic problems that millions of people face today. In addition, hard food promoted natural tooth wear, which surprisingly was beneficial. Small, even wear helped maintain proper bite and prevented sharp edges that could injure the gums. Modern soft foods do not provide this kind of wear, which leads to uneven tooth wear and can cause problems with the temporomandibular joint. Thus, the entire system worked together as a single mechanism, in which each element played its role in maintaining health. The diet of cave people was balanced and varied. They ate what they could find or catch: game, fish, berries, roots, wild vegetables, and fruits. Their food contained large amounts of protein, fats, vitamins, and minerals necessary for healthy bones and teeth. It is important to note that their diet was almost completely free of simple carbohydrates and sugar. The main cause of tooth decay is the activity of bacteria that feed on sugar and release acid that destroys tooth enamel. Cavemen did not have access to sweets, carbonated drinks, baked goods, or other sources of refined sugar. Their teeth were simply not exposed to the acid attack that we face every day. The sugar they got from berries and fruits was in its natural form and did not have such a destructive effect. This is one of the most significant factors explaining the phenomenal health of their teeth. In addition to the absence of sugar, the diet of cave people was rich in micronutrients. For example, they got large amounts of calcium from animal bones and phosphorus and magnesium from nuts and seeds. These elements are essential for the formation of strong tooth enamel and bone tissue. Modern people often have a deficiency of these substances, which makes their teeth more brittle and vulnerable. The wild plants they ate contained large amounts of vitamins, especially vitamin C, which is essential for healthy gums. A lack of this vitamin can lead to scurvy, which causes bleeding gums and tooth loss. Thus, the diet of cave people was ideal not only for maintaining healthy teeth, but also for the entire body as a whole. Their teeth were strong, straight, and healthy because they were an integral part of their balanced diet. The diet of cave people was also rich in fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K, which they obtained from fatty fish, animal offal, and eggs. These vitamins play a key role in the absorption of calcium and phosphorus, which directly affects the strength of bones and teeth. For example, vitamin D is necessary for the body to effectively use calcium to strengthen enamel. In addition, their diet was rich in probiotics, which were found in fermented foods and wild plants. A healthy gut flora, in turn, influenced oral health, as there is a close link between the two. Modern research shows that digestive problems often affect the condition of the gums and teeth. Thus, our ancestors' perfect teeth were not only the result of a sugar-free diet, but also of a holistic approach to nutrition that provided all the necessary elements for the health of the entire body. Cave people had much larger jaws than we do. This is because their diet consisted of hard foods that required a lot of chewing. The constant strain on the jaw stimulated its growth, allowing the teeth to grow straight and evenly spaced. This was also helped by the fact that they had more space for all 32 teeth, including wisdom teeth. In the modern world, with the transition to soft, processed foods, the human jaw has become smaller. As a result, there is not enough space for the teeth, and they begin to grow crooked, overlapping each other. Wisdom teeth often have to be removed because there is simply no room for them to erupt. Changes in diet have thus led not only to problems with tooth decay, but also to structural changes in the anatomy of the jaw. What do you think has had the greatest impact on the reduction of the jaw in modern humans? Evolution or our diet? Changes in diet have led to the jaw of modern humans becoming smaller and weaker. With the transition to agriculture and the advent of softer, processed foods, the chewing apparatus no longer received the necessary exercise. This led to the jaw bones developing more slowly and ceasing to grow to the size they had in our ancestors. This process, which began thousands of years ago, continues today. Modern children who eat soft foods from an early age have even weaker and smaller jaws. This often leads to problems with bite and crowding of the teeth. Dentists are sounding the alarm as the number of people needing orthodontic treatment continues to rise. Thus, our diet not only destroys our teeth, but also changes our anatomy. If our diet has changed our jaws so much, then maybe the lack of toothbrushes in cave dwellers wasn't such a bad thing after all. To find out the answer to this question, watch the video until the end. At first glance, it may seem that cavemen did not care about oral hygiene at all. They did not have toothbrushes, toothpaste, or mouthwash. However, as it turned out, Their lifestyle contributed to natural teeth cleaning. The constant consumption of tough, fibrous foods acted as a natural toothbrush, scraping away plaque and food debris. Eating raw meat, which they gnawed off the bones, also contributed to cleaning. Moreover, many wild herbs and roots that they used for food had antibacterial properties. For example, they could use twigs from certain trees to massage their gums and clean their teeth. Thus, even without modern hygiene products, their teeth remained clean. Cave people did not have access to antiseptics or antibiotics, so their bodies had to fight infections on their own. Hard food and plant fibers constantly massaged the gums, which improved blood circulation and prevented inflammation. It was a kind of natural massage for the gums, which strengthened them and made them less susceptible to infection. In addition, their food did not contain sugar, which is the main cause of tooth decay. The absence of sugar and refined carbohydrates in the diet of cave people prevented the growth of bacteria that produce acid, which destroys tooth enamel. Thus, their teeth were protected not only physically, but also chemically. Natural selection also played a role. People with dental problems could not survive, and their genes were not passed on. Their oral cavity essentially functioned as a self-cleaning system. The constant contact of teeth with hard food and wild plants rich in antimicrobial substances created an environment in which pathogenic bacteria simply could not multiply in large numbers. This minimized the formation of plaque and tartar. In addition, constant chewing stimulated the production of saliva, which in addition to its antibacterial properties, contains minerals that help remineralize tooth enamel. This process allows the enamel to recover after minor acid attacks. While modern humans, who eat soft and sweet foods, create ideal conditions for bacterial growth, cave dwellers' lifestyle provided them with natural protection that was far more effective than any modern toothbrush or toothpaste. The dental health of cave dwellers was inseparable from their overall health. The absence of chronic inflammatory processes and diseases caused by poor nutrition contributed to a strong immune system. A healthy intestinal microflora, which was formed thanks to a varied diet, also played a role in maintaining oral health. The absence of stress associated with the modern pace of life also had a positive effect on hormone levels, which in turn strengthened bone tissue. The combination of all these factors created a reliable natural defense against diseases that seem inevitable to us today. Can modern people achieve the same level of health by changing their diet and lifestyle? Watch the video to the end to find out the answer to this question. The dental health of cave people was a reflection of their overall health. They did not suffer from diabetes, obesity, or cardiovascular disease, which are so common today. Their bodies were tuned for survival, and every system worked in harmony. Teeth were an important part of this mechanism. If teeth were weak, a person could not eat properly, which led to a weakening of the entire body. Thus, strong teeth were essential for survival. Modern people, on the contrary, often face chronic diseases that weaken the immune system and make the body more vulnerable. Poor nutrition, lack of physical activity, and stress all have a negative impact on health, including teeth. Thus, dental health is not only a matter of hygiene, but also of overall health. The connection between gut health and oral health, which is currently being actively studied, worked on an intuitive level for cave dwellers. Their diet, rich in natural fiber and fermented foods, contributed to the formation of healthy microflora in the digestive system. This healthy microflora, in turn, influenced the body's immune response and reduced the risk of inflammatory processes in the gums. In modern humans, whose diet often consists of processed foods and sugar, the intestinal microflora is disrupted, which has a negative effect on the entire body. The absence of chronic diseases in our ancestors, such as diabetes, which is directly linked to gum problems, also contributed to their perfect health. Cave dwellers did not have many harmful habits that negatively affect dental health today. They did not smoke tobacco or consume alcohol in the way we do. Smoking and alcohol destroy tooth enamel, lead to plaque formation, gum inflammation, and increase the risk of tooth decay. The absence of these factors also played a significant role in maintaining dental health. Their teeth were not exposed to aggressive influences that make teeth vulnerable. Alcohol, especially in large quantities, causes dehydration of the mouth, which leads to a decrease in saliva production. Saliva, as we have already mentioned, plays an important role in cleaning teeth and neutralizing acid. A decrease in its amount makes teeth more vulnerable to tooth decay. Smoking, in turn, constricts blood vessels, which impairs blood flow to the gums and makes them more susceptible to infection. This can lead to gingivitis and periodontitis, diseases that can result in tooth loss. In addition, smoking causes darkening of tooth enamel and the formation of tartar. All these problems were unknown to cave dwellers. Their teeth were clean and healthy because they were not exposed to the aggressive effects of harmful habits. The environment of cave people was completely different. They lived in conditions where there was no polluted air or water that could contain harmful chemicals that weaken the body. The water they drank was clean and natural, rich in minerals. This clean water was an important source of nutrients necessary for healthy bones and teeth. The environmentally friendly foods they ate did not contain pesticides or other chemicals, which also had a positive effect on their health. The clean water that cave people drank contained large amounts of fluoride, calcium, and magnesium. These minerals are essential for strengthening tooth enamel and bone tissue. Modern tap water often contains chemicals that can be harmful to health. In addition, cave people lived in conditions where there was not as much stress and noise as there is today. Stress, as we have already mentioned, has a negative effect on hormone levels and can weaken the body. The organic foods they ate did not contain pesticides or other chemicals that could be harmful to health. Thus, their teeth were healthy because they lived in harmony with nature. The chewing apparatus of cave people was constantly at work. Hard roots, raw meat, nuts, all this food required considerable effort to chew. This constant tension stimulated the development of the jaw bones and muscles, preventing atrophy. As a result, the jaw was wide and the teeth were evenly spaced and not crowded. In modern humans, who eat soft and processed foods, the jaw does not receive the proper load, which leads to its reduction and, as a consequence, to problems with bite and tooth growth. The functional load on the jaw of cave dwellers was so great that it led to the formation of powerful jaw muscles and a broad jaw. This allowed the teeth to be positioned evenly in the dental arch without crowding. In addition, constant chewing stimulated blood circulation in the gums, making them stronger and healthier. In modern humans, who eat soft and processed foods, the jaw does not receive the proper load, which leads to its reduction. This, in turn, leads to a lack of space for the teeth, and they begin to grow crooked. Thus, our diet not only destroys our teeth, but also changes our anatomy. This is one of the main reasons why so many people need orthodontic treatment. The caveman's body was remarkably resilient and adapted to harsh conditions. Their genetics and lifestyle were geared towards survival. Weak individuals simply did not survive, while the strong passed on their genes. This natural selection contributed to the strengthening of all body systems, including the dental system. Those with weak teeth could not eat effectively and, therefore, could not survive. Thus, only those with strong and healthy teeth remained in their population. Natural selection was one of the most important factors influencing the dental health of cave dwellers. People with dental problems could not feed themselves effectively, which led to a weakening of the entire body. They were more vulnerable to disease and infection, and their chances of survival were significantly lower. Thus, only those with strong and healthy teeth remained in their population. Modern humans, on the other hand, can survive even with very poor teeth thanks to the advances of modern medicine. However, this means that the genes responsible for weak teeth are passed on, making us more vulnerable to dental disease. We have looked at many factors that contributed to the phenomenal dental health of cave dwellers. Their secret lies not in one specific aspect, but in a combination of lifestyle, diet, genetics, and natural adaptation. We cannot go back to the cave, but we can learn a lot from their experience. Today, we have access to knowledge and technology that allow us to make informed choices. Perhaps the key to healthy teeth is not another miracle toothpaste, but a return to a simpler and more natural life. What do you think about this? Don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed it and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new episodes.